There's something about silence that speaks louder than 1,000 words. The kind of silence that settles in when someone with darkness in their heart sits beside you, smiling with their lips, but hiding storms behind their eyes. In this world of masks and well-rehearsed facades, recognizing an evil presence is not always about catching someone in an act, but about listening to your inner wisdom, the stoic voice within that has learned to read energy and observe without judgment. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts," and sometimes the presence of an evil person around you stains your inner peace before you even realize it. The first sign is subtle yet undeniable. They drain your energy without ever saying a word. You sit with them, and after a few minutes, your chest feels heavy, your mind restless, and your instincts whisper that something is not right. This is not paranoia. This is ancient survival wisdom rooted in Stoicism, which teaches us to observe and remain grounded in truth. Sign 2 reveals itself through their words, smooth, flattering, overly sweet, yet always laced with manipulation. They know exactly what to say to earn your trust, while slowly nudging you into self-doubt. Stoics warn us, do not mistake flattery for friendship, for even a serpent slithers softly. Third, their joy blooms only in your pain. Watch how their eyes glimmer, not when you rise, but when you fall. They may offer condolences when you stumble, but notice the hidden pleasure in their tone, the way they linger on your failures more than your victories. Evil often hides behind politeness, and Stoicism teaches us to trust behavior over intention. Fourth, they sow division, quietly pulling strings, twisting facts, igniting small fires between people, and stepping away before the flames rise. They feed on chaos, but never seem to be at the center, always pretending to be the peacemaker. But in truth, they are architects of disorder. The Stoic path asks us to look beyond appearances, to trace the consequences of actions to their roots. Fifth, an evil presence will make you feel guilty for having boundaries. They will test your limits, trespass your peace, and when you push back, they'll paint you as selfish. They manipulate compassion like a weapon, demanding forgiveness without transformation. Stoicism reminds us, mercy is not naivety, and self-preservation is not cruelty. The sixth sign is emotional instability, a calculated outburst or a cold silence used to control the room. They use unpredictability as power, forcing you to walk on eggshells, modifying your behavior just to keep peace. This is not love, not respect. It is psychological warfare. Seneca, the great Stoic, taught that true strength is in controlling one's emotions, not unleashing them to control others. The seventh sign is when they mimic your values, but never live them. They echo words like kindness, loyalty, and truth, yet their lives are void of these principles. They wear the mask of morality, but walk the path of manipulation. Marcus Aurelius warned us to align word and action, for hypocrisy is the language of the false-hearted. The eighth sign is envy disguised as support. Pay attention to how they react when good fortune visits your life. Their congratulations will be late, their praise hollow, their demeanor subtly withdrawn. True friends mirror your joy, the wicked feign it. Envy is the rust of the soul, and the Stoic must recognize it not to condemn, but to protect their own peace. And the final sign, the ninth, is the absence of accountability. When caught, they blame others. When confronted, they play victim. Their entire life is a narrative where they're the misunderstood hero, and everyone else is a villain. Stoicism teaches us that the first step to growth is self-reflection, and anyone who flees from accountability fears the mirror of truth. These 9 signs are not merely red flags. They are the invisible tremors before an emotional earthquake. You must learn to see with your soul, to sense beyond the surface, and to understand that evil does not always shout. It whispers. It charms. It pretends. But once you begin to walk the Stoic path, anchored in reason, clarity, and emotional mastery, you will begin to notice what others miss. You will start listening to the silence between words, the tension behind smiles, and the energy that never lies. The Stoic way is not about judgment. It is about discernment. It is about protecting your inner citadel, your fortress of peace, from the ones who wish to breach its walls through manipulation, deceit, and spiritual erosion. Because in the end, the greatest tragedy is not the presence of evil around you, but the blindness to it. When you awaken to these signs, not with fear, but with wisdom, you reclaim your power. You begin to filter your circle with purpose. You realize that protecting your energy is not selfish. It is sacred. You stop explaining your intuition. You stop feeling guilty for choosing peace. And most of all, you understand that no amount of goodness in you can fix the darkness in someone else who is committed to staying broken. The Stoics knew this. They lived among emperors and traitors, among scholars and schemers, and still, they stood in silence, observed with detachment, and guarded their minds with the discipline of warriors. And now, it is your turn. And so, after walking through the veiled shadows of the human soul, after uncovering the subtle gestures, the silent betrayals, the insidious energies cloaked in smiles and false affection, we arrive at a place of reckoning. A place where truth sits in silence like a monk in deep meditation, unmoved by chaos, untouched by illusion. You now carry a light not everyone dares to bear. The knowledge of these signs is not mere information. It is a flame that pierces through deception. But beware, for light, too, has its burden. You see, recognizing the presence of evil is not merely about identifying others. It is about sharpening the sword of your own discernment. It is about refining the mirror of your inner world until you no longer reflect what is around you, but project what is within you. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius, in the silence of his own soul, wrote not to others but to himself, for he understood the greatest battles are fought in stillness, away from the eyes of the world. The battle to remain just in an unjust world. The struggle to remain kind amidst cruelty. The war to stay sovereign in a world eager to claim your mind. Now that you've seen the signs, those moments of manipulation, the backhanded words, the energy vampires who thrive on your peace, you can no longer pretend. The truth once seen cannot be unseen. Like a hidden constellation suddenly lit by divine fire, your awareness has expanded, and with it comes power, but not the kind that dominates others. This is a sacred power, the power to choose, to step away, to walk alone when the crowd turns poisonous, to protect your spirit not with armor, but with clarity. In ancient times, mystics and warriors alike knew that evil rarely wears a mask. It whispers in your name. It smiles with your friend's face. It holds a door open while placing daggers behind your back. But now you know the tone of that whisper. You know the chill behind that grin. You can sense the tension in the handshake, the hidden agenda in a compliment, the subtle draining of your light when someone is near. You can now walk into any room and feel what words do not say. This awareness is your sacred compass. It is not paranoia. It is precision. The wise do not fear snakes. They simply see where they slither. They do not hate the shadows. They just don't mistake them for the sun. And you, if you continue on this path, will become such a one. You will not judge, but you will see. You will not condemn, but you will move in silence. Because now, you are the observer. The storm may rage, but you will sit at its center, untouched. This is the art of inner freedom. The Stoics taught us that our peace does not depend on others, but it must be guarded from others. Evil is not always dramatic. Sometimes, it is subtle, soft-spoken, offering you wine with poison underneath. You now drink only from the chalice of awareness. You no longer accept every offering. You question, you sense, you pause, and in that pause, you reclaim your life. The final test is not whether you can detect evil, but whether you can still remain good. Not weak, not naive, but radically good. Powerful in compassion, fierce in boundaries, unwavering in purpose. For even the most evil among us do not fear anger. They fear clarity. They fear the person who sees them and smiles with detachment. The one who walks away without a word. The one who, like the Stoic sage, needs nothing. Not approval, not revenge, not closure. Just the strength to move forward. So here you are, not just a viewer of this video, but a traveler who has crossed through inner terrain few dare to explore. You have learned not just the signs of evil, but the signs of your own awakening. From this moment on, let your life be your meditation. Let your silence speak more than your reactions ever could. Let your gaze cut through the masks. Let your presence be so grounded that no darkness dares draw near. Because true power, as the ancients taught, is not in control over others. It is in absolute command of your own essence. And that is what you now hold. Walk wisely.